The Milwaukee Bucks have a major problem. Following winning their opening night against the Philadelphia 76ers, they have now lost back-to-back brutal games following their loss to the Brooklyn Nets. Fans are annoyed with Doc Rivers. They're concerned with the fit of Dame and Giannis, among many other things. They need to fix this fast, or else it's going to be a very interesting season for the Bucks. We're going to break all that down. Before we get into it, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you're part of the 81% who aren't subscribed to the channel, we're on the road to 1,500 subscribers. If you enjoy the daily Bucks content, make sure to hit that button. But the Bucks lost again. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets, a team that they were supposed to beat. They were heavy favorites in that game. And aside from Chris Middleton, they were pretty healthy. And, Giannis and Dame both played. And this game showed us a lot of things about this team. Now, again, it's still super early. We're only 3 games into this season, so I'm not going to hit the panic button yet, even though a lot of Bucks fans are. But there is a lot of problems with this team nonetheless. And since Doc Rivers has taken over, their record, since he took over last season, their record has not been very good whatsoever. Now, whether it's a coaching problem, whether it's a personnel problem, philosophy problem, it's probably a mix of all of them. But I'm going to dive into some of the major problems. An article actually dropped the 3 biggest concerns of the Bucks' first 3 games and how to fix them. And I want to kind of address this article because it brings up some very good points and kind of discuss how the Bucks are in. I don't think they're in trouble yet. They play the Boston Celtics tonight, and their schedule does not get any easier. They play the Cavs in a couple nights. There's a lot of things that are going to play into effect here, but there's some very interesting things. So let's start with the first one, and that is rebounding. And this has been one of the more prominent issues for the Milwaukee Bucks this season. You see here, rebounding has been a problem early for the Bucks, and more specifically, preventing offensive rebounds. Despite sitting 14th in the league in total rebounds, the Bucks are 27th in offensive rebounds. And we know on opening night, they lost the rebounding battle. The Bulls, they won the rebounding battle by 1, but they let in a bunch of O boards. They weren't able to get any offensive rebounds. And once again, the Nets beat them on the glass in the game yesterday. So at this point, it's interesting because they have guys like Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, who can in theory rebound the ball. Now, Bobby Portis has looked very interesting. If you're looking at him last game, Bobby Portis wasn't great at rebounding. He wasn't great at playing defense whatsoever. He kept getting lost in matchups. Now, whether they were running zone, man-to-man, whatever it was, depending on the time, he was just getting lost. There was a clip that was kind of going around, not going viral, but really getting attention in the Bucks community when Bobby Portis just lost his man, went to the corner, wide open 3, big momentum shifter. And the Bucks were up double digits at some point of this, at points of this Nets game, and they ultimately threw it away and lost the game. That being said, they need to be able to rebound the ball better. You have guys like Giannis, who's always going to get 13, 14 rebounds. However, most of the time, that's going to be defensive rebounds. Now, he can get offensive rebounds, but he's going to be the guy who has the ball most of the time. He's not going to be always crashing. He's going to get a lot of defensive rebounds. Guys like Brook Lopez, who also hasn't looked phenomenal to start the season, Bobby Portis, both of those guys need to get rebounds. That being said, the Bucks don't have many great rebounders on this roster. I mean, you're thinking of it. You have Bobby Portis, you have Brook Lopez, you have Giannis. No one else really rebounds the ball. Dame's not going to get much. Gary Trent Jr. is not going to get much. Taurean Prince isn't really going to get much either. And you also, of course, Chris Middleton, when he's back, won't get many. So it's a clear hole in the Bucks game. You watch it, you see the issue that they have. They're not able to get offensive rebounds, and they are able to be fine on defensive rebounds, which makes the numbers a bit better than a lot of fans. If you don't watch the games, you're gonna think, okay, well the numbers, they're even to maybe win by a couple rebounds against some teams, lose by a couple to the Nets. But it's a severe problem, especially when you're giving up second chance points. And for a team that's not very good at defense to begin with, giving up second chance points at this point is going to lose them games. And we saw it in the Nets game. We saw it in the Bulls game. It's going to lose you games, and it's something they desperately need to fix. And I'm not exactly sure what the fix is at this point. Better box outs, obviously the basic stuff, the entry-level stuff. But better schemes, better coaching, everything. And the personnel, the team needs to work better, like work harder. The actual players, they need to play better. At the end of the day, whether you want to blame the coaches, whether you want to blame anyone, it's on the players to play better. And speaking of that, you can see the second point they gave is 3-point defensive effort. Coming into the season, a lot was made about the new defensive scheme, like I covered on the channel ad nauseum. So far, it hasn't worked. The Bucks currently have the 8th worst defensive rating, and that is with 4 teams below them having played 2 games as of the writing. The 3-point defense has not been good in their 2 defeats, with the Bulls hitting 21 threes on 44.7% shooting. This isn't helped by the Bucks' lack of threes, hitting 13 on 32%. So not only are the Bucks shooting poorly from 3 now, I think that'll come back to earth. I think they'll get Chris Middleton back. It'll help create some more offense. But they're giving up a ton of threes. And if you're playing against, and we're going to see it tonight when they play the Boston Celtics, the best 3-point shooting team in the league, if they go out there and they have if they give up as many threes as they have been, minimally contested threes, they're going to get lit up by Jason Tatum, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, even Al Horford, everybody out there. Peyton Pritchard will probably come off the bench and hit 5 threes, knowing our luck. At this point, they need to play better defense, and the new defensive scheme that Doc Rivers has in place is supposed to be how they're more versatile, how, all these different things, maybe force teams to shoot more contested threes. It has left the team. We saw the Bulls lit them up, and Kobe White had a great game. Zach LaVine had a great game. But then against the Brooklyn Nets, we thought after that game with the Bulls, hey, maybe it was just a game where they were on fire. Brooklyn Nets beat us easily as well. So, I mean, not necessarily easily, but the game shouldn't have been close. And it's something that needs to be fixed. And whether that's personnel, whether that's scheme, it's going to be a lot of different things. I think they're going to start hitting threes. I think it's going to be fine. I think it might just be an outlier surrounding the offense. But the defense is going to be a big concern the entire year. And it's going to be the talking point for this Milwaukee Bucks team the entire season because they traded Drew Holiday. And again, looking at defense, like I mentioned, lack of effort. Whether that's from Pat Connaughton, whether that's from Bobby Portis, whether that's from Dame. There's a lack of effort on this team. And effort is the biggest thing right now, whether that's on the defensive end, whether that's offensive rebounding, whether that's boxing out your man, whatever it is, the little things are getting by the Milwaukee Bucks right now, which is why they're losing games against teams that they are objectively coming into the season better than in the Bulls and the Brooklyn Nets. And it might be time to give some of the young guys. We saw AJ Green have an impact against the Bulls. He had 9 points. Maybe they give AJ Johnson, the rookie, a chance. Andre Jackson Jr., get some guys in there that can actually play some defense, are going to show some hustle, show some fight. Obviously, keep your starting lineup fairly similar, but off the bench, bring in energy guys, because if they don't, things are going to happen, and they're going to happen soon. And to wrap it all up, the turnovers have been brutal. Obviously, I think a lot of these things kind of compile. When you're not shooting well, you're going to give up more points on the fast break. You're going to give up more threes. Fast teams are going to leak. You're going to give up more turnovers because you're flustered. All of these things kind of come together. They're ranked 16th in the league with 15.7 turnovers a game. So at the end of the day, I think the Bucks are in an interesting spot. They need to figure it out. And some fans, you can see like this one, are overreacting a little bit. Call this season a wrap. Doc Rivers, offense, defense, everything. Dame being passive. Dame said there needs to be more player-to-player communication and holding each other accountable. And it's up to you if you think that Dame and Giannis are just a broken duo, if you don't think they can work together. I think it's way too early to say that at this point. There are times when, Giannis kind of blitzes Dame, and then Dame isn't able to, keep his rhythm going. He's used to playing on a team where he's the number one option. And Giannis isn't used to playing alongside another star in Damian Lillard in this case. He's used to having a co-star, if you consider Middleton a star, but a guy who's just significantly below him in a talent. But now that that's not the case, it's going to be very interesting to see how they actually mesh throughout the rest of the regular season, and specifically over the game tonight against the Boston Celtics, because they are 9.5 point. They're not favored at all. They're underdogs by 9.5 points. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. If they win tonight, it's a statement win for the Milwaukee Bucks, and we'll keep you up to date with all of it. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you soon.